Jeff Bezos, I don't think, anticipated when he started Amazon, it was going to be anything more than books. Now look at him.
You know what he said, though? Amazon has, when it started, it had a couple guys, and now they have, I think, 1 million plus employees. The speed for him to make good and bad decisions is the same.
I get my deodorant from him, which you could probably use some deodorant.
Buddy, I got it. Call me Rico Suave.
Rico Suave.
Oh, boy. Are we doing a cologne segment today, or what are we doing? Rico Suave.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Never in Reverse, Always Moving Forward. I am your host, Jeremy Axel, co-host Doug Cox, sitting in good old Bend, Oregon.
Good morning.
Doug, Westwork office. What's up?
Oh, gosh, not much, man. Same old, same old. No, lots up. I shouldn't say that. No, it's, I'm tired of winter. It's been
Gratitude's a new attitude, bud. Let's do this.
Yes.
That's my thing for 2025. Gratitude's a new attitude.
Gratitude is a new attitude. Yeah. Well, I'm not liking this winter weather, so I don't have a lot of gratitude.
But I'm just saying it's a mindset. But man, all's well, man. It's been a burner. You're doing a great job.
We got a lot of good things going. A lot of good things on all ends of it.
You've managed to tuck in another hour into those midday naps, so we're good. That shift is getting a little bit longer.
It's I wish I could get a nap in. Let's put it that way. No.
Yeah, I'm gonna beat that one down till this show's done, which I don't know if that's gonna ever happen, but we'll see.
Yeah, get a nap in then.
Yeah, viewers, thanks for joining us. As always, guys, we appreciate it. Never in Reverse is always moving forward in life and just understanding, there's great things ahead. And I think that today's topic, which we'll get into, is just a kind of a really interesting one for me. It's actually the courage to start over. And man, there's times, and this is, it's kind of weird. I segment my life, and, the buckets that we're going to go through is business, family and personal. And some of them I treat differently, to be honest with you. It's like almost like my authenticity is different for some reason. Maybe it's like a struggle point for me. And I think we kind of do that. Yeah, I think we'll go through that. And I think we kind of all might face some of this just because of certain pressures that we might feel in the workplace, where we have, I would say, a sense of,
or just stages in life in general.
I don't know. I mean, I think there's just we'll walk through this, but starting off in the business side of things, guys, embracing change. I'm going to be honest, I thrive in our environment to change. I thrive in it. I thrive. I love it. I love moving. I think it's one of the most risky, fun things we can possibly do to see what if our thoughts aligned with what happened. I think it's like this, and there's a lot of risk financially. There's sometimes that I've made some really,
but it's a change in a positive manner. It's not just of a negative impact forcing a change. It's our evolution in change, right? Mm-hmm. So I think there's, some differences, in that when we talk about change, and the ability to adapt or evolve.
Yep.
There's a negative side of it and there's a positive side of it. And for us, I think in our business environment and what you're saying, and you do thrive in it, we're always looking for that enhancement. We're always looking for that upper edge, right? We don't sit still or stagnant or in a moment. We're looking in advance of all the time, which is, in the organizations that I worked for and, my prior career, there was one in general that had this same sense, leading edge, cutting edge, evolution. And then I went to work for another organization and it was the complete opposite. I mean, we were stale, stagnant in the position the company was in when they had started 15 years ago.
That starts at the top down. And I think that
exactly
embracing the change and pivoting and rebuilding. I always use this. I work for a gentleman, the same thing. And I looked at him one day and I said, listen, I got to a point in my career where I just was like, I'm always the number one sales guy, and now I'm number two to Doug.
You are number two to Doug. That is finally some honesty. Some honesty.
We call Doug the order taker.
ABC, baby. ABC. Always be closing.
ABS, always be sleeping.
When I'm not closing.
But no, I remember looking at him, I said, listen, I got to ask you something. I said, you're treating your personal life and leading that differently than you are here. And here's what I mean by that. You got a brand new car outside. And why did you do that? I wanted to understand the thinking. Oh, it's got better leather. It's smoother. It's got better miles per gallon. Perfect. So your car that you replaced is the same perspective you're treating your business as. It's stuck, got bad gas mileage, emissions are bad, the leather's worn out. And he looked at
tires
me. He looked at me and he couldn't wrap his head around it. And I go, all right, I'm in the wrong spot. I'm in the wrong spot. This is the vehicle that creates that new car, and you got the new car, but you're not maintaining the leather over here. And he couldn't wrap his head around the change. It was this, but he was changing over here. It was like this, such a separate perspective. And usually it's opposite. The business gets it all. And that's how I think. I'm like, I take care of this thing because I know it feeds families and I want that thing to thrive. And then I'll maintain my level of risk in my home with my family and my kids differently. It's just for me, it's a different perspective currently. Right. Hopefully it sometimes as we grow that will change, but I just saw that and I'm like, man, this guy's if he couldn't see the connection between the two, I'm not getting led. And I personally had a pivot. I gave him two options. He chose the latter. And here we are, right? I'm right.
Yeah.
I gave him the options and here we are. So, I had to pivot and rebuild my internals and it took a lot of courage for me to start over because I was so sick of changing. I went from, technology sales to software sales to selling capital equipment to starting my own. And man, courage start over. And as a sales guy, it's just like rebuild. And that's like the hardest thing to do as a salesperson is to start over. It's man, book a business. I've been here doing this. That I can see, I'd say we probably sense a light at the end of the tunnel, like where you can just walk in with a little bit of Zen daily. You're not worried about making 100 cold calls and digging up the next deal. So I think that the infrastructure that we're in though is like, I'm always going to have nice new leather and it might not be the next year's leather, but we're going to be primed and ready to go to do that upgrade when this starts wearing out. Like we're not going to let it wear out, put a patch on it.
No, and just stay in the stale and stagnant position. I mean, we're always looking in advance of and where technology can come into play and in favor for this organization. I mean, it's where we can do more with less. Right.
Oh,
or connection between the customers, the support, customer service to the accounting. I mean, we're very forward thinking in that manner, I think. Where most organizations, and again, it starts with leadership at the top. And, and I'd worked for a gentleman for a tech company, much the same. I was trying to encourage some tools and automation and applications to tighten, our financial side. And at the time, the owners didn't want to they felt threatened by giving their data to somebody else. And he's driving a brand new Tesla.
No, he's got an iPhone.
No. This gentleman did, I don't know, he had a Droid or something that was old, whatever. But we're a tech company. We need to represent as a tech company, and we're not. But here you are driving a Tesla with all the latest bells and whistles, and I mean, that is technology. There was that disconnect.
Do you know how much data Elon Musk has?
Oh,
he's scared of sharing the data.
Right?
What? You're not.
It's just the parallels are disconnected there. And it's.
Yeah, and I think one thing that the pivot in here when we make good and bad decisions, we've pivoted during some transitions of here. We just had that happen. We had a vendor that we brought on this ideology. It just wasn't evolving at the rate that I was okay with continually investing in. So we had a pivot. And I think that pivot was like, hey, listen, we got to cut this off, focus on the true day to day. That was a long-term perspective for me of like where I thought we could go. It just wasn't happening. There's going to be it was an endless pit of an return. And I had to stop and go, boom, stop the bleeding, pivot. And it didn't shake us up. It was like, hey, listen, this is where we're going. Why? Are you guys cool with it? Cut it off and move on. And I think that we've done a good job here is like, let's not sit in it and dwell like, oh my gosh, you made a bad investment, because the next thing that we're moving towards is right in front of us, and it's going to make ample improvements to where we're going. If we sit there and dwell on this and get concerned about the mistakes that we've made, we're going to be. Well, I mean, if I was concerned about the mistakes that I've made during this journey, I'd be paralyzed.
Right.
I just let that thing go to the side and go, hey, that's one to my quiver. Now I understand a little bit more of what I need to be looking for next journey for something.
The evolution. Yeah.
Yeah. And I think that,
I mean, Jeff Bezos, I don't think anticipated when he started Amazon, it was going to be anything more than books.
Books.
Now look at him.
Books. You know what he said though?
I get my deodorant from him.
Okay, check this out. I'll give you, I just had something recently. He goes,
which you could probably use some deodorant. Sorry for the
buddy, I got it. Call me Rico Suave.
Oh boy.
Yeah. No.
Is this a cologne? Are we doing a cologne segment today, or what are we doing? Rico Suave.
But no, he said this, and I'll never forget it. He goes, today Amazon has, when it started, it had a couple guys, and now they have, I think, 1 million plus employees. And today, the speed for him to make good and bad decisions is the same. He's kept the speed with that many layers because he's built it and doesn't allow. And I think that I try to do that. Like, listen, when I start sensing some cultural disconnects, I'm going to reset, go, oh no, this is where we're going. And if I start feeling that it's not happening, then I would say I'm going to have to start micromanaging, because now I'm feeling like I'm babysitting because they're not going the right way.
Yeah. Because we're not moving at the pace we should, or we're not fulfilling objectives. And and
then I start feeling like that again. Then I'm like, man, I'm gonna start finding the right person. I've made some bad decisions during those pivots, and I felt like I was stubborn. I'm like, man, I don't have the capacity to go find that next person. And then I'm dragging on this dead weight.
Held on. Yeah.
I'll never do it. I'm done doing that. It's not worth the sacrifice for our team and me. Yeah. I'm flowing more that weighs me down. That holds me back. And it was creating this rubber band of like, I got this shiny new thing, and I got a guy over here holding onto the 1950 Ford, and he's trying to catch me. Well, this motor is better than this one.
Right.
It's going to just keep the layers of separation just keep distancing themselves.
Yep. Further apart.
So, but I think let's, the whole, the transitions of life, I think we'll dive into on that on a personal level. And like, this is going to be so different than what I treat the business side of things at. So we're going to take a quick break, guys. Would love to hear you guys dive in and just comment on the courage for you to start over at a career, and maybe you've made some transitions to be a stay-at-home mom or a father.
Good change, bad change.
Yeah, good change. Yeah. How did you overcome it? What did you do to embrace that? Let us share your experience. We're here to learn. So let us take a quick break, guys. Though. Again, Jeremy Axel, Doug Cox. We'll see you guys shortly. Appreciate it.
See you in a bit.
Hey, everybody. Welcome back to Never in Reverse, episode 16. What are we on? 19?
16.
I don't know. 16, 17, somewhere around there. Thanks for joining us, guys. 18.
18.
We're on 18.
It's a number.
Next. 18. On to the next. But no, guys, thanks for joining us and growing this and our viewership and stuff. We don't know where this is taking us. We just know that it was something that pulling on our hearts and where we wanted to go, and
share some experience and learn from others in our community. Yeah,
absolutely. So we're gonna dive back into this. So the courage to start over, segment 2, beginning a new life transitions in personal life. man, those journeys, whew, there's a lot of transitions. I just think about, I
man.
remember, man, there was a journey in my life when I was 25 years old. We just graduated college, and I felt this place of, I'll never forget the feeling. And we don't forget feelings, right? Like that's something how you make people feel is something that you'll never forget. And how I felt during a moment when I was 25 was this transition from a young man to trying to transition to being an adult. And I felt this place of emptiness, scared. Man, it was tough. But I looked at myself and said, okay.
Well, our lives were pretty regimented, you know, when we were playing collegiate sports. I mean, we had schedules, we had practices, we had workouts, we had film study. I mean, and then we had school and curriculum on top of it. I mean, our lives were really structured to that point, right? You know, and then I remember that same feeling when I moved back from Minnesota to here. I went, oh my gosh,
look at this.
I'm like in the real world now.
Yeah.
Okay, an 8 to 5, okay, a job. You know, okay, guy
off payroll, buddy.
What's that?
Daddy's cutting you off payroll.
Oh, yeah. You just got kicked out the front door. Here you go.
You got it, but pick the phone up and start dialing.
Yeah. Yep. Got to pay the bills. Yep.
When
it starts now. Yep.
Then you didn't mess around having kids, and you got right into a new house. And how long did that take you? A couple years? Man,
no, we bit off more than we could chew there early on. You know, but again, it was, you know, learned a lot from it. You know, we moved back here. I was, I think, 26. Then I married at 28. It was interesting. So my wife and I had changed.
Yeah.
Renting a house we did this kind of sweat equity program where, you know, first time home buyer kind of thing. And this was right when, just shortly after the Great Recession hit. Mm-hmm. And I'm going, oh shoot, I'm getting married in August. I'm building a house and I'm doing a bunch of the grunt work. So, you know, I'm laying the tile, all the stuff. We get married in August, and then November, my wife tells me she's pregnant. And I'm going, holy cow. I wasn't even done like finishing the stuff on the house.
Yeah, I remember going to that house early on.
Yeah, you came and visited. And I mean, I was still in the mix of like trying to get, you know, I did all the irrigation, all the landscaping stuff, you know, put all the trim and everything in the house. But I'm going, oh my God, I felt this weight, enormous amount of weight that everything just got put on fast forward, you know, and just this overwhelming like amount of change in a short period of time.
And you can't, you know, the thing about that type of change, it's out of your control.
You live in a moment,
and it just changes. I think the thing that, you know, I don't know if you've experienced this in your life, but actually I think you have, but in the family side is, man, change is good. When you get married and you have a spouse that has great quality, sometimes you bring these dynamics in, and I think both sides do it. Mm-hmm. And if there's a resistance to change, to find alignment with the better side of that, because of maybe trauma or something happened over here where it's like, man, like quit resisting the betterment of this family. Like I've had some struggles internally on both sides, me and my wife, trying to get an alignment around some key things that create some differences in a day-to-day thing. So it's like, man, find that alignment, like own it. Like, hey, I know that's not good. This is definitely the better side, and work towards that without, not saying you have to jump over right away, right?
But now you're a team, right? You don't overcome these challenges by yourself. Now it's together, you know, and it's
the change of that person. So like here, some things you shared when you're, you know, first class while the money lasts, right? Like your wife needs to listen, or this ain't going to work.
Yep.
And I bet prior to that, she was saying that along the way, but you're just disregarding her, is my guess.
Yeah. It's because sometimes you don't want to let go of those things. Right?
Yep.
You know, and wholeheartedly, I had to take a moment and just think about what's best. You know, and both of us, we've all had those moments where it's like, okay, maybe they're right. Let's talk about this and figure out what's best for us.
Yeah. Why, if I look at the whole betterment, I get kids and you start getting this dynamic involved, like I'm protecting my selfish habits.
Right.
If you look at the big picture for our family, this is way better. At some stage, you got to just jump on the stage. You can't keep dragging the problem into something if it's going to hold you back, because that delta is going to get wider, and that can happen in marriages and relationships. You can have that that distancing as well. And I think that, you know, sometimes fear holds us back, or trauma, or, you know, the unknown. Hey, I'm comfortable here. I know that maybe this isn't right, but it's just how I've always done it.
Yep. I'm comfortable in this space. I'm not going to reach outside of that, you know,
Yeah.
and it's,
But you can have in your family, when you start bringing 2 to 1 and kid, and now you're teaching them, they're watching you, they're listening, they're seeing the dynamic.
yep.
You want that to go onward? Or do you know and acknowledge and shake hands that, hey, this is definitely not what I want to teach them, so I got to start moving. Don't say it, start it.
Yeah.
Start those micro movements on both sides. And so in my family, I mean, both sides, we've had some struggles on that. I've made excuses along the way. She's made excuses along the way. And now we're in the spot, like, I'm just going straight to the accountability side. I mean, I want to be accountable for my own actions and lead through that and say, hey, listen, you're right. Here's where I'm going. This is what I'm going to work on. And I'm going to fail along the way. I'm not going to be perfect. These are 42-year-old habits. I mean, honestly,
And I'm looking for better results. I'm looking for better results.
I want to lead my family better. I want to lead my wife better. I want to lead myself better. I want to lead my team better, because people pay attention. They'll watch you. You know, you go to church on a Sunday and you get hammered on Sunday afternoon. Disconnect. You go to church on a Sunday and you get hammered on Sunday afternoon. Let me show people what I want to show them. Let me show them who I really am. That's, you know, it's not, that's right. You got to create those layers a little bit closer, right? Like, make it so it's the steps and where you're walking are more authentic to you, what the truth is, not the desire to be something, but the truth. Because the desire to me is like, man, the struggle of the fear or the outcome. I mean, like me getting my habits reset right now to go work out consistently, right? Like I'll get cooking and then I step back, and then I get back into some poor habits of that, where I know I need to blend in time, right? Like you've been really great at it. So I just think that sometimes we have step backs to pivot and move forward, but we got to always try to keep progressing. And I'm trying to be more authentic to myself, is like, listen, I did that. I'm not accountable to myself right now. I'm not showing up for myself, and not thinking about work, or I had these things to do, or all these excuses that it's me. Nothing's going on from 5 o'clock to 6 o'clock in the morning. It's not.
No. But I mean, it's
Done right now.
And sometimes the dynamics through the day, or what things change that you got to embrace, you know, that you maybe have to forfeit something for the other, but you try to, but wholeheartedly, you know, you want to get back on this course correction, right? But sometimes there's a detour, and that's life.
Yeah, and I think that when we're heading down that, like, let's say fear is holding us back, but we take that jump and we're like, listen, I know I want to change, because I know maybe someone's addicted to something, or they're struggling with something that they know is not right, and they've been facing it for a long time, and it was something they were taught young, or there's trauma or something like think about, like, man, the rebuilding process, but fear holding you back, but you make the transition. It's all right, man. You can do it. Like the micro habits that I think you and I were talking about, like, I'm trying to get my micro habits into a spot of rebuilding, I would say, a more consistent, healthy, maintainable Jeremy. I want to maintain myself at a higher level for myself, for my friends, so that I am here longer, that I'm healthy, you know, and me sucking down coffee all day and working 16 hours a day isn't going to be it. So if I keep doing that, you know, or am I going to start breaking out, you know, working out, going on nice walks, taking my family out, having better mental health, all those things that I can see transition. But the rebuilding the confidence and that momentum is like, there's a process for that, right? Like, and I think it's just, you know, don't wait to be January 1st and be like, I'm going to work out, and I'm going to work out this year, and it's the new year, right? The New Year's resolution. That's never going to be, that's not it.
No better time than the present moment, you know, and that's make the change now. And I know sometimes it's hard. I mean, I've got things I'm trying to, you know, change in my day-to-day habits,
right? Like you said,
gosh,
like, but
these things are evil.
Yeah. You're stuck in the moment, right? Like, and it's like, imagine like you're taking your truck out and you're going 4-wheel driving. Do you just leave it there when it gets stuck?
No.
What do you do?
You get the shovel out, start digging, find a way, call for help, something.
The shovel might not work.
Yep.
What do you get another one? You call a buddy that has a bigger pickup. You get a guy that has a tractor, right? So you get all these different tools that can have the same outcome that maybe that shovel that we have in our personal life isn't the right fit to get us there. maybe the friends or the people you're surrounding yourself with aren't the ones to get you there. Maybe that guy
help influence, better change.
Yes.
Yeah.
Maybe that guy that you thought was the guy, or he's been a buddy for 20 years, is holding you back. He's bringing you with him on a journey that isn't conducive to the change you want to see, right? Like they got to call a new guy that maybe you just met that has that 4-wheel drive pickup to get you out and let him, because he's got better tools in his toolbox. He knows how to support things. Like he has it all, right? Like, and that's what I'm like when I moved into my new neighborhood, man, I'm like, oh man, the beautiful people that I got in my neighborhood next door elevate me. They make me a better person. They
don't. They got a for sale sign in the front yard because they want to get away from you.
Oh yeah, but I already got. I'm digging them like Mish. I'm good.
Oh, but gosh, I can't imagine being your neighbor.
But the best time to change is take a step now, and you understand you could get stuck again. You could take a step in a puddle and have a deeper thing of mud. But guess what?
Life. I mean, there's gonna be challenges and adversity. It's like my wife and I were talking about, 2024 here a few weeks ago as we went into the new year, right? And 2024 was a challenging year, and we were kind of talking about that. But she goes, you know what? Look at all the great things we did. Look at all the memories we created. And I went, yeah, you're right. And we made it a point, to create those memories. You know, even with the adversity that we faced, my grandfather passed away. My son had a weird illness to where he lost, the use of his legs because of a viral infection. So weird.
Hey, remember I was digging, I found it.
Yeah, you did.
Remember? And you're like,
and then brought it up to the doctor and they went, well, we tested for that. Well, let's look again. And then all of a sudden when they ran blood tests again, they found that he was infected with that virus.
And you're like,
I can't remember what it was called, but yeah. And then he just started getting his mobility back in his legs. But my point being is life is going to throw you some curveballs. Mm-hmm. And you're not always going to be ready to take that swing at it.
And you might take the wrong swing with the wrong bat.
And you might. And you trip, you stumble, you fall, but it's learning from it. It's getting up and embracing the beautiful things that life is giving us, and taking these moments where we're faced with adversity and change and being light on our toes and adapt. I know it's easy to say, as we all go through things. I know it's easy to say, but the willpower to overcome it and find the better good on the other side is what you push and you strive for.
And don't be consistently like thinking like, hey, I'm going to make these big change, and you think you're going to take a step right and that change might not give you the results. You don't stop. You pivot. And you keep on pivoting until you get the desired outcome and maybe changes in the habits or,
and it goes back to your support, what's in your network, your family, your friends, that where you can seek encouragement or you can seek, ideas, because everybody's faced elements of adversity and where it's created change, and people have gone through these things, and it's asking them of what helped them overcome certain situational things,
Hey, you said something. Your network is your net worth, not financially.
Mm-hmm.
I'm talking in life. You hang out with wrong people.
Yep.
You're gonna be. They say you're as good as your top 5, right?
Well, and you're guilty by association too. Even though that network of people are recognized in a different fashion, you may not partake in, getting hammered every day after work or whatever it is. But the moment you're there, you're guilty by association. I tell my kids that all the time.
Yes.
If you hang around bad people, you're going to be recognized as a bad person.
So I think
you're involved, it's, again, it goes back to who you surround yourself with.
And I think it's okay just to acknowledge that it takes time, if depending on where you're at in life, so for me to rebuild some habits, it's going to be a harder journey. I'm going to fail more than I succeed, but the pivots and steps in the right direction, me are just a journey that I love. I've always liked to embrace. I've always been to underdogs, similar to you, just always have to try to change. But it's like, for the viewers, it's like, listen, it's okay to fail. It's okay to take the wrong step and maybe not see the desired outcome. It's okay that as long as you're trying and not just sitting still and sitting in the moment and going, well, that didn't work. That wasn't what I expected.
Or making excuses.
But that right there is the mindset is a shift to be like, listen, it's okay. You made that, and I make them all the time. We made a decision. It wasn't the right decision. You stop, you pivot, and you what you'll learn is sometimes that wrong decision will shine light, maybe not right away, but 5-6 years down the road on a situation that presents itself that solved that situation, either with maybe relationships or business or friendships, but it can come out into a different light and let you look back and go, oh, that's why.
I got this. I've been through it. I know how to handle
Maybe
this.
the decision wasn't that bad. Maybe I thought it was a bad decision back then, but it actually shined light here. So I think it's important just to understand that those steps are there. I don't think you're ever failing. If you're stepping in the right direction going forward, I think it's always important to know that you're trying. You're not some of that's sitting and looking for desire to be the outcome, a desire with no action. And I've been there. You'll sit in the desire. Because I met a gal one time, and I told my wife this. I met her in Telluride, and she walked in, and I don't know if you ever met someone this. There was a law of attraction. She didn't have to say one word. Her presence was the present, and she had a demeanor around her that was so amazingly connected to humanity, and she wanted to be. Everyone was attracted to her. When she talked, it was like boom. She had worked on herself so deeply, but she didn't get that just all of a sudden. She took steps.
Yep.
And steps, and then she found it.
Growth.
She found this presence for herself that she was at peace on and not worried about the outside world except for the one-on-one conversations and being authentic with that wherever she was at in a peaceful manner. And I think that I probably took her a long time to get there, but I think just acknowledging that, being okay that, hey, I'm going to take these steps. It might not be the right steps. Maybe I don't have the right network right now, but I'm going to work with what I got and I'm going to grow.
I'm going to improve. Yep.
Well, instead of sitting and just being like, this is how I was taught. I've done that. This is how I was taught. This is how you do it. I did that early on when I was young. This is, right or wrong, right?
Right.
And bad.
Yeah, but when you're young, I mean, and even in your 20s, you're still maturing. You're still going through life experience, and even through your 30s.
That's still maturing.
Yeah, my wife, I've said this before, my wife calls me her fifth child. But and it's every period in life, I think there's an element of growth, and because it's every day's a new day, and stages in life we're still learning, we're still growing, we're still adapting, to the changes even in our bodies. I mean, shoot, I go and work out now and it's like, oh my gosh, I'm sore. Why? It's like, okay, well, I'm not in my 20s and 30s anymore. I'm in my 40s. I got to go about things differently.
40? I think you're in your 50s.
Right? No. Early 40s, I think.
I got gray hair.
I'm bald, but you see my point, though. I mean, it's just as you age, it's just you go about things in a different fashion, through experience. Because of experience.
Just on the bald note, we should get Travis and Travis on here and do the bald roast show and then kick them off, do like a 5-minute intro with those two bald heads on here.
Jeremy, hair club for men. Let's start combing some in a little bit. I mean, it's little girl.
Oh, no, but anyways, guys, we're going to wrap this episode up, guys. Thanks for joining us on this episode 18 on Never in Reverse, Always Moving Forward. Just to kind of the courage to start over, guys. And please leave comments, subscribe on YouTube, join us on this journey, Facebook, Instagram, LinkedIn. Please join us. We're here to learn. We want you guys to
give us some feedback. Yeah.
Part of where you're going.
Experience.
Exactly. But until next time, guys, I'm your host, Jeremy Axel, co-host Doug Cox. We appreciate it. And
thanks for tuning in
on the next episode, and have a wonderful day. Thanks so much.
Thank you.